your plant out of your face.
Put it in your face, depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, like this is very private. Good morning or good evening, Penumbra community. So lovely to have you all
We got
here.
three
Nope,
viewers. Oh, three viewers.
still
Oh,
in my
4,
face.
5, 6, 7, 8. So many viewers. Hello, everyone.
Hi. Um,
Okay.
Incredible. So this call is going to be about all things grants because we have the first cohort is getting close to wrapping up their projects, and then we have just unveiled the RFPs and the application for our next round, which we are very excited about. So, yeah, I'm wondering, I often just punt things to you, Park, when I'm like, would you like to provide context for grants and what's going on here? Really, I'd love to hear from both of you, sort of like, why are we excited about grants at Penumbra and what's going on in this space? And then we can move on to what we're looking for the next round of grants, because I know people have already been asking about like specifically the RFPs that we've posted.
Totally. Yeah, okay, so here's a good place to start, right? Like, why are grants important? Um, One thing that historically happens as like kind of like the wrong thing that people do with grants is sort of just doing it as like a one-off situation with protocols, and then people kind of come in, filter in, uh, do some preliminary work, and it doesn't get sustained. So that's not how we're approaching it as the Penumbra ecosystem. The point of grants is to try to create a community or a constellation or a group or whatever collective word you want to use of different utilities that are available to people when they use Penumbra. And some of these are like more. Some of these are more what do you call it? Um, Ambitious and kind of oriented towards exciting solutions that are a result of Penumbra's capabilities and leveraging the private the anonymity set. And then other ones are more oriented, towards things that you just need on a crypto basis. So I'm very excited personally about the last round of grants, and a lot of the people who are going to be joining us on this call today, which we're very glad to have them kind of in the waiting room right now. You can't see them, but they're there because what they have done is kind of set a floor on the first round of grants, the people who got involved, and people who are like a lot of the people who are involved in the first round of grants are very oriented towards privacy, but also privacy utility. So in particular, we have someone who's building, on the one side, we have like education about understanding how it is that Penumbra works. On the other side, we have a tax tool. And while tax tools might not be like the most exciting thing in the world, the person who's building it is extremely good at what he does. And I think tax tools actually turn out to be pretty important, especially when you want to sell your assets and be able to capitalize on your profits. But also, and crucially, specifically that Penumbra has like some very good qualities when it comes to how the tax system works, or how the tax system would interact with this network. So for example, with staking, when you deposit tokens as part of a stake to a particular validator, you get like a fixed rate token that represents the exact same amount that you deposit from the beginning, but its value inflates. So from a tax perspective, you don't get charged on like continuous issuance that gets brought to you. Instead, what happens is when you unstake, the tokens have the equivalent value in the amount of distributed over the period of time to that particular token. So meaning that at the moment that you unstake, that's actually the only taxable event in when you in the process of like staking. So there's a lot of like cool qualities of Penumbra that can be sort of unveiled. So this kind of answers like the core question that you're asking here, Amber, which is like, what is the point and value of grants? Well, grants help us kind of scale up and beyond where it is that Penumbra is right now in terms of like people's contributions to the network. So right now there's like software architecture that can be used and interacted with on the user level, but there are a lot of other options that are available, a lot of other things that can be built, and We want people to kind of just like get in and get their hands dirty, understand how Penumbra works, and potentially help build in the direction of things that both the software and the community might need. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, Gar, can you say a word or two about grants and what you think is the point? One thing that I remark on is that the labs team is cooking hard right now, but still, when I reach out to the Gar and be like, "What do you want on the next grant?" He's like, "Okay, this is really, really important, so we have to figure this out." So, like, you are prioritizing this even amidst kind of like a maelstrom of stuff going on. So, would love to just
Yes.
hear a little bit about that, and then we can move on to the current CP.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's not just lip service. Things like this are super important. Like grants, hackathons, anything where we're engaging with talented people from the community, I love. I just think it's the best thing because we have a very specific core product focus and we have a core product roadmap, and that roadmap is constrained at times by the capacity that we have in our organization. And there are lots of cool bits and pieces that we would love to be able to work on, but we just don't have the time. And so we know that there is a huge like community of talented developers out there that we can tap into and that we can establish a relationship with. As you said, Park, it's not just a one-time thing. We want to build a community of developers that continue to contribute to the ecosystem. And just anecdotally as well, when I worked for Penumbra Labs, I was at O1 Labs contributing to the Mina protocol, and there were, I think, by the time I left, there were 3 people on the core team who we had first encountered as grantees, who had built really cool stuff that we deployed into the ecosystem. We saw how good they were at what they did, and we offered them roles. And I just think that's a really cool path as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the first cohort have been doing, and also announcing what we're going to be granting for the second.
Fantastic. Cool. Amazing. Fantastic. So good. I also love grants because it's like such an amazing on-ramp for a community. And if it is like a lot of people like initial interaction with us and with protocols in general is sort of like when we're looking for people to engage with us. And supporting people to do that, obviously. Like I'm thinking about how the ZecHub crew set up I call it the portal. So there's like a channel between both of our Discords where we can interact through there. And so y'all can see what's going on in our Discord, we can see what's going on in their Discord. And it's just like that is a good and amazing connection that we want. And they're in the waiting rooms now. I'm just like, yes, like that is correct. Keep hanging out. We love it. Cool. Let's talk for a couple minutes about I was going to start talking about CFPs now, but kind of now I want to let the grantees cook for a little bit. So are you okay to hang out for a little bit, Gar? Okay. And
Yep.
Okay. Let me move you guys around. No, it's okay. You can go off camera. All right. So I did just talk about you guys, so I think I could bring up the ZecHub crew. Is that okay? Y'all good to present? All right, fabulous. So we'll bring up, we have in this corner, we have Squirrel, we have Squirrel Screen, and we also have Dismod. Yeah, guys, we'll have some questions for you at the end, but just share a little bit about what you've been up to and yeah, a little bit about the experience. Yeah, you have the stage.
Great. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting getting to know the Penumbra folks over the past couple of weeks.
If you could introduce yourselves and then talk about the grant that you were I kind of introduced you, but like introduce yourselves the way that you want to be introduced. And then the project that you did or are working on, it's still in progress.
Yes. We are ZecHub. We're an educational hub for the shielded ecosystem. We run a bounty program in which we invite contributors from all around the world to create content for Penumbra. And so what you're looking at now is our bounty board. And yeah, so I'm a core team member. My name is Squirrel, and we have Dismad with us as well.
Hey guys, I'm also a core contributor. Happy to be here, and let's make privacy fun again.
Yes. And so, yeah, just like an update of what's been happening. So we can see the 5 Penumbra tasks which have been completed so far. At the moment, we don't have any in progress or to do. I think perhaps after this call or over the next like couple of hours, we're going to list a new task for Penumbra people. And so, or for anyone, if you're interested in earning the token for Penumbra, just go over to dwork.zechub.org and just check out the tasks. And so one of the interesting tasks I want to bring up is main. So earlier today, we posted a cool video showing like Veil. I think, yeah, it shows Veil and it lets people know that there's an option to perform crypto trades privately and what have you. The interesting thing is, I didn't create this task for main. Main like said, I want to do something for Penumbra, and I'm an animator. So this task was created by main, and we performed the bounty retroactively. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you're more than welcome to create something and then request a retroactive bounty for it. Another cool thing is a poster that we that SpeedFox made as a ZecHub bounty, and if you go onto our Twitter, you might be able to find it somewhere. And so, yeah, something else that we're doing is adding Penumbra network stats to our dashboard. So if you go to zechub.wiki, there's a dashboard there. It's not so the dashboard is down at the moment. We're currently adding Namada network metrics. And so, yeah, I perhaps would have some feedback around like Penumbra nodes, but I'll share that in the dev chat later. And yeah, we've been joining some Penumbra community events. The Friday games have been quite fun. We've been like really getting as many Zcash members to take part in the Penumbra events as well. It's been good. Yeah, I think I covered everything so far, Dismad, right?
Yeah. Other than, I'm excited to start, running full nodes on Penumbra full nodes. Excuse me. And I'm actually excited to, if there are folks out there who maybe are scared of running a Penumbra full node and want some, like a way to learn how to do that, please reach out. I'm a big fan of hands-on learning, and I think you learn the most that way. And it can be very fun. So as we build up our dashboard with the stats, we're also going to be creating Penumbra full nodes, and there's no better way to learn than to do it yourself. So if there are students out there that want to learn, please reach out.
Yep. And so,
And that's
yes,
something
please.
we just pitching in that we would love to help you guys make stuff like that happen. Like we want those onboarding ramps to exist and to be really clear to folks who are checking out Penumbra. So if you guys wanted to like host something where you did that, or like a tiny little like hacking afternoon where you did that all together, like that would be amazing. And it would love to support you and promote that and get people in the door for that.
Yeah, is it Erwan, one of the devs on Penumbra?
Yeah, he's the CTO of Penumbra Labs.
Right. Yeah. So like he's been on Twitter and doing these technical streams. I would very much like to join one with him so that we can kind of figure out the Comet BFT node config thing with PD, and I got confused and I need his help. One other thing, we prepared a joint event. So we made like a big quiz for Zcash and Penumbra topics. And so we're looking to schedule that for whenever. I hope it's possible to make it a part of the existing Friday games. Maybe.
Yeah, Venom is actually in the chat right now, and so we won't bring you on stage, Venom. But yeah, she runs those games, and I am sure she would love to have some overlap and support and making something like that happen. You can comment, Venom, if you feel so moved. But yeah, yes, very very keen on collaborating. You guys keep showing up, and that's like my favorite thing. 'Cause you guys have great vibes. One question that I had for both of you, and just FYI to everyone, this is supposed to be kind of like an updates presentation. Like it's not like a razzle dazzle like and we're done. So this is like works in progress, which is great to see. Um, what have you thought about working with Penumbra, and what kind of sort of like what has the experience been like for you? And you can give negative feedback, because this is all about like, this is a big upside for grants for us, is figuring out how to like bring more people on and how to make that the best experience it can be. So yeah, if you could share a bit about that, and then we'll move on to probably Matiha.
It's been awesome, quite good. So if you ask a question in the Discord, it's very likely that an AI will answer that question in full within like a second. So very helpful there. The documentation itself is like really thorough.
Correctly, hopefully.
It's just like it was just one thing, one like piece of information which I was looking for. Other than that, the community is super fun. We enjoy the Friday games, like I mentioned. There's good chances to earn and yeah, like the technical streams which are happening on Twitter like every day. It's good so far.
Amazing. Well, I'll have feedback forms for you guys when you're done with your grants. And we'd love to hear more about how to make this experience the best it can be. And would love to have you guys keep hanging around. So let's do what we need to do to make that happen. Okay. Any other thoughts that you want to share with the class?
Nope.
Nope. Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time. Let me shuffle some folks around. And we have Matiha now. Can we hear you?
Yeah,
I
we
think
do.
so.
Okay, cool.
Hey.
Hello, hello. How does
Matiha,
work
I'd love
this?
to hear about what you're working on, but also I kind of want you to tell the story of you finding Penumbra, because you joined us at an exciting time.
Yeah, so I'm Mattia. You may know me from like previous endeavors around the Cosmos Hub. Now mainly on the Cycles protocol. You may know me from there, but it's pretty recent. How I discovered Penumbra is a late evening. No, I'm kidding. It's not. It wasn't a late evening. I was here since Genesis. I think I met Henry in some of the conferences over Europe, so I got interested. But I think the more interesting story is like I was in one of the earlier Penumbra games around New Year's Eve. I was like sick as a dog. I cannot really go out, cannot drink with my friends. So I was like, okay, these guys are playing some games. So we were cracking the code basically. I think there was like we started with like 50 people, and then like by day 2 it was just like a couple of us guys who already do all of this for a living. So it wasn't a fair fight. So yeah, that's how I got more involved with Penumbra. And as far as the grant work goes, I'm doing a tax app. So just because transactions are private doesn't mean that you don't need to report what you're doing. The point is that you have the ability to hide your transactions, but also report them if you need to report them, right? So getting a tool that will help you navigate the taxes around your activities on Penumbra is helpful. Maybe more helpful to me than other people, but it's good to know what you should do with your taxes. So currently, I have a work in progress on the grant. The Oku app, which is do I start sharing now? Which is a fork. I hope you like white backgrounds. And I hope that stuff actually works. Oh no, the demo's gonna work, but the slideshow isn't. Okay, slideshow is not gonna work. So just some background information. You can find the application here. I can share all of the things. It's basically a web app that has a TypeScript library that allows you to do tax labeling and tax calculations for transactions extracted basically from the Prax wallet. It tries to do the most generic thing that satisfies everybody, and that's it has some sort of a FIFO calculation. That means first in, first out inventory lot management. And you have a small spec or test, however you want to call it, that does this in Python. It has comments around it, so you can follow what the code is actually doing, or at least I hope you can follow, because it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, it has comments. It tells you how it should be treated and how it should be done for your case. So as far as the demo, let's see if the demo works. I'm cheating a bit because I prepared everything, so I don't need to be generating or waiting. Basically, you get to configure the most important parameters for tax stuff in crypto, basically. So usually your country will specify when your long-term capital gains duration starts. The usual dates are like never 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Then the rate, short-term capital rates, and income rates. And there are some specifics with different countries around treating some. So most countries allow you to do FIFO, which is very simple. Some countries actually want you to pay capital gains when you pay fees, which is difficult. And then we have two things that nobody else has, and that's like we have IBC withdrawals and inflows. So it's very difficult to figure out if something is an inflow because somebody is paying you, or something is just you rebalancing your portfolios. So for that purpose, you basically have an app that's going to pull all of your transactions in a year, and you can relabel them. So it's going to make assumptions, but you can say like, hey, this wasn't an expense. I actually paid somebody. And then it's going to change how it applies taxes to that transaction. Since this is a fork of Veil, you can also go and see all of the transactions. But I'm very afraid of pressing this button because it may not work. So you can click Generate Report, and it's going to show you all of the reports that you've generated for the years. All of the data is on your local machine. It's never going to reach any of the application servers. There's no application server, just a React app that you load, and everything is using your browser memory. So when you when you load transactions, create a report, you can go and check it out. And hopefully this works. Yeah, it works. It's basically going to give you a short overview of like, hey, this is how much income you've made, and this is what the tax rate applies. Then it shows you what are your expenses. Usually you can deduct them. It can then show you what you did in trading. So as you can see, this account is very bad at trading, and it tells you what the fees are. Then it does know all of your assets over the year, and it's going to show you like what's your current position. So this position lost like $2,800. This gained nothing, and it sees all of the assets that you had, and it classifies the transactions nicely for you, and you can sort them. So income means like somebody paid you. This is taxable income. Expenses are everything can be treated partially as an expense because you're paying fees. And you have disposals. Disposals are basically when you're paying somebody or you're doing swaps. So that's that. What else is there to do is to get you like a nice report, Coinly style report, where you could download it as a PDF if you need to enclose it with any of your tax submissions, and you can download a CSV for your internal tracking. So that's it in short. I think we also had a section where we want to talk about learnings. So learnings, taxes are hard. Like everything you touch is a rabbit hole. Even if you want to compare the US to Europe, huge gap between European countries, and huge difference between various states in the United States. So very difficult to do actually. So the focus is creating something that's generic and configurable. There are like 8 options that make sense, which you can tweak, and that's basically what I'm calling like a Coinly style report. I've had good experiences with submitting quarterly reports with my tax applications. I don't know if it's called an application, but when you go to submit your taxes, quarterly style reports usually go a long way. As far as the technical learnings go, I figured out how to operate archive nodes and Indexer had some issues there and may actually open a couple of PRs for it to do more stuff. Learned how Veil works because this is forking Veil. Learn how to interact with the Prax wallet, so basically how to pull all of the transactions, decrypt them. Figured out how to actually label the tax events, what falls where. Checked out the UI lib, provided some feedback. I think I opened a couple of issues. Yeah, and figured out that parts that are easy elsewhere are not easy on Penumbra. For instance, staking, not easy because you don't have the reward amount displayed. You have to fetch it and track your staking for a long period of time to figure out what's the actual amount that you claimed, because it doesn't say like, hey, you claimed $1 extra. So yeah, that's that. And what's next is, well, tax reporting is seasonal. So this is useful like once or twice a year. So for that purpose, I think what I'm gonna do to finish it up is add the reports, figure out the parts that are missing now, and deploy the app so people can start playing with it and complaining about it. So the more people complain, the better the app is gonna be, because I have to answer all of those complaints. So yeah, and we'll see what the future will bring. I think it could be a nice supplement to the portfolio management page, where you could have a tab that would show you like, hey, this is your tax burden for the year, and stuff like that. Yeah, sorry for the long-winded
No,
talk.
this was amazing. And I love the like getting people to complain about it. That's a beautiful and being really excited about that because that's what feedback is. Amazing. Any kind of closing thoughts about working in Penumbra, taking on this grant? Like I said, you'll be able to complain to us privately as well, but yeah, anything that you want to share?
It's been great so far, and anything that I asked about was answered within like a couple days. So I'm pretty happy with working here and hoping to contribute more. Maybe not on the UI side because I'm weak there, but maybe on the other stuff I could be more useful.
Fabulous. Yeah, I was definitely thinking when you had taxes are hard at the top when I saw like your beautiful interface, I was like, wow, I wish actually doing my taxes were as easy as like this like beautiful streamlined process that you have set up. But they're not. But this will help for sure.
I sure hope so.
Incredible. Amazing. That's beautiful. I'm kind of looking at Park to see if she wants to say anything. Otherwise we can move on. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Let me move some folks around. And then Venom is gonna put on a video because it's like 2 in the morning for Tokidoki. So we didn't want to make him present, but he did send on a video. So Venom, I'm not sure if you need to be on stage, but let's go ahead and play that video. And of course,
Hello everyone, I'm excited to share the Penumbra 101 articles, a series introducing Penumbra, a privacy-focused DeFi protocol to crypto folks who use DEXs and stake but haven't tried shielded systems. I'm writing a clear, fun explainer of Penumbra's 5 main features to show why privacy is DeFi's next big thing and how it puts you in charge. First up, shielded transactions and multi-asset shielded pools. The article explains how Penumbra hides transaction details, amount, token, recipient, using zero-knowledge tech, where transactions involving different tokens is indistinguishable from each other. So, you sending one to your friend will look similar to someone else sending one Atom to their exchange, assuming both transactions pay fees in For users of public blockchains, where every swap is visible, this section shows shielding your portfolio is like locking your financial diary, keeping it secure yet functional. Next, I cover shielded DEX with batch swaps, liquidity provision, and routing. The article shows how Penumbra's DEX lets you swap tokens without the threat of MEV bots, add liquidity privately, and automatically find the best trade paths. If you've used Uniswap, your trades, offsets, and trading strategy are out there for all to see. We pitch Penumbra's DEX as a secret trading club. Your moves stay hidden. By tying it to DEXs you know, We want to get traders and yield farmers hyped for a platform that mixes privacy with sleek performance for private, sharp swaps. Third, I tackle IBC shielding and de-shielding with ephemeral addresses. The article breaks down how Penumbra uses the IBC protocol to move tokens across chains privately, hiding them using temporary, untraceable addresses when they enter and leave. Cross-chain DeFi often leaves tracks. For Cosmos or multi-chain users, we present Penumbra as a dark forest between blockchains, keeping your tokens off the radar. This highlights why private cross-chain moves matter when anyone, from a cashier to a chatbot, can dig into your crypto wealth with little info. Then I highlight tax-friendly shielded staking and on-chain voting with a community pool. The article covers private staking and voting, with cool extras like the incoming liquidity tournaments for more rewards. Staking on Ethereum or voting in DAOs shows everyone your moves, which compromises your privacy. We describe Penumbra as a private voting booth. Your stake and votes stay secret, and liquid staking can be more tax efficient in certain tax regimes. This section grabs staking fans who want privacy and a bit of competitive spark. Finally, I showcase the Prax wallet and decentralized frontends. The article introduces Prax as an easy-to-use wallet for Penumbra's features and decentralized frontends as hack-proof access points. But crypto users love MetaMask's simplicity but hate centralized risks. We call Prax your DeFi safe. Simple, secure, private, backed by front ends that can't be shut down. This pushes readers to check out Penumbra, making shielded DeFi feel doable and powerful. Thanks for your attention. Get ready for these articles to drop soon and share around with your crypto neighbors.
That was so good. He's not here. He's asleep right now. But yes, we are looking at the articles that he sent in right now, and we will be promoting them when they are live. So those are our grantees at present. Really great work, you guys. You have a couple more weeks to close out whatever you want to, and then we'll have conversations about what comes next. Park, I'm bringing up your head. Oh, Park is frozen? No, great. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for presenting. I know the times get a little wonky, so really appreciate you guys coming by and sharing what you've been up to, and also just for participating in Penumbra and figuring out how to hack on Penumbra and to work with us. It's just so hugely important.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very exciting to
Gigi, I-
see all of the work you put into these and kind of like knowing that it's revealing more and more pieces of what Penumbra is. I mean, you know, like Penumbra is a project made for users, so having users better and better understand all of the components of what makes it up, I think is like huge. Enormous shout out to Matika and to Tokidoki for like revealing those elements a lot. And then I just also have unending thanks for the ZecHub team for like all being such fierce advocates of private technology, but also especially and particularly putting in some weight behind this in the form of incentives. That was really a pleasant surprise to like open my Twitter. I think it was yesterday or today, and be like, oh, there's a ZecHub video up about Penumbra. That's cool. So that's a nice thing to see, I have to say.
Absolutely. Incredible. And so for our last little stretch, I wanted to talk a little bit about the RFPs, so the proposals that we've put forth. I'll share the link in just a sec to the forum post that outlines all of the dates and the descriptions of what we'll be looking for, including an open RFP. So if what you want to do is not there, like pitch it to us by all means. So let me bring Gar up, and then I'll share the link. And we can talk about the kind of things that we have cooking. So, Gar, can you tell us a little bit about what Labs is prioritizing for this round of grants?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I do that, I also want to express my thanks for the presentations before. Like, what a fantastic illustration of everything we talked about being excited for. You know, it's really cool to see this work come into fruition. And congrats to to you all for the progress so far, and looking forward to seeing where you end up. So let me see. There's a few in particular that I'd like to focus on. So thank you also to those who presented, who complimented, I guess, the developer experience so far, and the the engagement that you've had from our team. But as you know, we can always improve on that experience, and improving on developer experience is important because, again, it just lowers the barrier to entry for developers who do want to contribute to the ecosystem. So the first grant I'll talk about is contributing to our developer documentation, excuse me, and tools. So this really is reasonably open-ended in the sense that we really like fresh sets of eyes to look at our developer documentation and identify gaps, potentially fill those gaps, and potentially even build tools that would make it easier for developers to get started and kind of get over that hump in building in the Penumbra ecosystem. And then kind of following on from that is a call for example applications. So I think, it's definitely my perspective that the documentation is a product. It has to be part of your product suite, and part of that particular product is examples. It's not the case for everybody. I know, particularly for me, when I look at developer documentation, I think I learn the most when I try to absorb as much as I can from the, sometimes high documentation, but then actually see it put into use in example applications. That's really when it starts to sink in. And so we're looking for people to take the documentation that exists so far and maybe what gets added to it in the first grant, and turn that into example applications that take advantage of all the privacy goodness that's offered by the Penumbra protocol. And then the last one I wanted to focus on was product-specific help material. So to this point, basically all of our help material for everything, including Prax, including Minifront, and now Veil, has coexisted on guide.penumbra.zone, and it's coexisted with documentation for running nodes, just general documentation about how the protocol works. And what we want to do now is to start kind of pulling that all apart such that relevant help material lives in the product that it is relevant to. So if you go to Veil, there should be an FAQ there should be a guide there should be a getting started guide, all of those things. And in doing that, we're also looking for fresh sets of eyes, because it's very easy for us, having built the software itself, to be a little bit blind to the things that might not be obvious to somebody who's very new to that piece of software. And so we're looking for people to come in, take a look at the user documentation that's there, again, identify gaps and fill those gaps. And then there's also an opportunity to actually build the component that we might slot into each of those products to house that documentation and make sure it's right there front and center for all our users. Yeah, they're the three that I wanted to really focus on today. So looking forward to, they're out there. So looking forward to doing my part in vetting the applications and seeing what we get.
Absolutely. And this is something that Park talks about, I think, every single meeting or community call, but the things that what labs put forward has in common is it's all about it's extremely user focused. So it's how do we make this more accessible? How do we make the help materials, how do we help people use the products? How do we document what documents are needed? So it's really all about getting those feedback points and making it better with each iteration. Incredible. Park, did you have anything that you wanted to say about that grant or those grants?
Yeah, I think so. There's kind of two things. The first is just want to echo what it is you just said, right? Which is that Penumbra, I think it's I know I emphasize it every call, but it's maybe I'm emphasizing every call because I'm trying to come up with the right way of saying it. But the right way of saying it is specifically there is this emphasis within Web3 on building community and trying to bring in a ton of people who are attendant to something, and then you end up with these really inflated numbers that skew an understanding of what it is to actually build an application and put it into people's hands. And with Penumbra, what we really consider is that the ecosystem is an ecosystem of users. It's very, very often the case that the communities you see around a project are just token holders. And I don't mean to like discount that, but what I do mean to say is that we're moving past, steadily moving past the like speculative application use era in crypto. And what we are headed towards is utility. This is something I like to talk about a lot, I like to emphasize on a lot, and Penumbra is built around this principle. And so everyone who has worked on this project is like moving with the same mindset, which is like you should build one useful application. And Penumbra is built around having built something that is useful to a user and sort of expanding out from there. So it's really important to emphasize the importance of this as a part of like using Penumbra. Is like you using Penumbra, you are actively participating in its growth. It is a network. I had a phrase that was like pinging around in my brain this morning that was like Penumbra is a privacy network that grows, that scales with its users. So the more users there are on Penumbra, the more impetus there is to scale Penumbra and make it more and more useful. And it becomes like a really strong feedback loop. And a lot of the incentive mechanisms in and around Penumbra, both on the protocol level and on the practical social level with the grants programs, are built around this principle. So with this in mind, right, there's a really cool specific grant on here that like I think we're like not really talking about that does have this interest in being like, hey, are you a part of the Penumbra community? And can you come in and like lean in? And that's this NFT puzzle creator and community strategy kind of like grant. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, Amber. I think I'm really excited about this one. But
Yeah,
I'd love to give you
we can totally tag team. So there may or may not be an NFT drop coming sometime in the future. We have had some really good runs in terms of playing beautiful games and making beautiful games happen. Mattia came on when we did the Voidle, which is Wordle, but for Void, the Void. And campaign, which was so much fun. And it was really fun. Like he was talking about, it started out with a whole bunch of people, and then those people moved into like kind of figuring out their own strategies for cracking the codes. Yeah, it was super fun. And even going back to TGE and the sunshadow.codes, what was that whole process called? The
summoning.
ciphers. The summoning, yeah.
So there was
the
a summoning. There was a cipher games that was a subcomponent of the summoning. Yeah.
Yeah. It goes back a ways in terms of like making a cipher to summon Penumbra, and those ciphers were solved by the Penumbra community like lightning fast. Like all of us were like, what? Like, wow, you guys really like puzzles and cryptography. Not that surprising, I guess. But yeah, so it was like, oh, like we want to keep this momentum going. So we are seeking people who like making puzzles to come and hang out and live in this potential little project that we have going on, to make an NFT project be something engaging and exciting in this like puzzle game space.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I think
you can
the
see more about
emphasis
it.
there is like puzzles are games are engaging. If you are someone who likes to build things that are engaging and fun, and it's like kind of my premise is like it should be useful, but it should be fun. I think that the internet used to be a really fun place to be on, and now we kind of like access it through like a couple different doors to like walled gardens of things that are not as fun. I want to bring back kind of like a little bit of a trend of like things being fun. And so, yeah, that I think that who we're looking for ideally to like take on this grant would be someone who like thinks like that, right? Is like, how can you make the internet fun again? Think ARGs, think like meaning like augmented reality games, think, there's a toolbox that you'll have access to if you're someone who is interested in doing this, but you just have to have a kind of a little bit of proof of having done so.
Yeah. So yes, we're very excited about that. And so that's kind of more in the like less development and more in the kind of other side of things. Yeah, and then of course we have an open RFP. So if you have an idea for something that you want to do, like pitch it to us. Let us know what you want to do and how much you would like to do it, and we'll see what's up. Yeah, I think that's it. So applications close June 6th. So you have lots of time to mull over what you're doing and what you want to do. And all of us are available for questions. We're always in the Discord or one sort of escalation point away from being able to answer your questions. So by all means ask. I had some people who said they had questions. So let me just see if anyone has anything. Cool. Looking good. All right. Anything else you guys want to add? I can, and then when you guys are done, I can kind of tease the next community call.
No, not particularly. I mean, Gar, you look like you maybe had something. I don't know. No? Okay. Your mic's not working all of a sudden. Interesting. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, I think for my part, mainly I'm really excited about these grants. I'm excited for like the impact that they will have is like kind of like another layer of incentive for keeping things going. But do remember, if you are a previous grant recipient, you can also apply for grants.
Sup chat.
Sup chat. Yeah, you can apply for grants. And it's
because we do want to keep you around. That is correct.
Keep you around. Exactly. This isn't meant to be just like a collective of like one-off experiments. So it's just something to keep in mind, especially if you have like market success and what it is that you're doing. And I think a lot of you have been getting that, which is great. I guess it's unrelated. I did put something up in the Penumbra forum that there's two things that are actually up that would really be great for viewers to respond to. The first is I put up a forum post around potentially adopting the Liquidity tournament, which is a piece of software that Penumbra Labs has been working on. I think it's inspired from something that Henry, the founder of Penumbra, put up on the forum a while back. I responded to it. I think it's time to like move us forward to the next step. I've been really appreciative of everyone liking the post, but like let's get some responses going because I would love to discuss it, because it would be really great to see that turned into a proposal and put up on the network. So in my book, I think that's like a really important step. It creates really excellent incentive structures for providing liquidity to the network. Maybe that's something we can talk about a little bit more in detail in like the next community call. But
that's on the docket.
Right. Cool. But most importantly, I would love to see people's responses there. I think it'd be really cool. And the other one is, it seems like there was a lot of traction around this. Erwan put up a post on the forum about the potential for using the TIA token as a gas token on Penumbra. There's a reason this is really cool. So for those who are reviewing, it's always important to just reemphasize this. Penumbra uses multidimensional gas fees. What does this mean? It means that Penumbra doesn't just use as the underlying token for the network. There's some really cool implications for what this means. It means that like relative to other networks, where like you just use the gas token of the network as the only way to do transactions, and that forces you to like buy the token to go and like do things on the network. Again, because this is a network oriented towards people and towards users, you should be able to just come into the network and use it. And looking at the popularity of tokens across those who have deposited tokens into Penumbra, right now there's like a small set of tokens that can be used as gas tokens. And based on the deposits into the Penumbra shielded pool, everyone was kind of like, what if we added TIA as a gas token? Which would be really cool, because then that means people can come in, can flow in from the Celestia ecosystem and use Penumbra without having to shift over to using the token. Keeping in mind, obviously, that the cheapest way to use Penumbra will probably always be to use the token. It's like the lowest possible gas fees. But because of the way that the gas structure works on Penumbra, you can use whatever gets authorized. So I think we could hopefully see if there is like more discussion around that, which I would like to see in the forum. we could see that turning into a proposal sometime soon, which would be up for ratification and have people voting on it. So those are kind of the two things I would love to make sure that people are responding to, who are watching the stream, who are in the Discord, who follow us on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera.
As we would say in the early days, pay attention.
Pay attention,
They're in the pipeline, as you can see from already what's happening in the forum, and more is to come. So get your voting finger clicker button ready, because gonna be some voting. Amazing. Thank you so much for drawing our attention to that. And we're promoting that on the Twitter and in the Discord as well. So go and have a look and contribute your thoughts. So many people showed up for the Tia as gas token tweet, which was so fun. So it's like, hi, Celestia. Love to have you here. Sweet. Thank you all so much again to our presenters. Thank you, Gar and Park. And we're going to talk about all things Liquidity Tournament at our next call. So looking forward to that. I will not be here, but it's going to be great. Fabulous. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much, everyone.
End stream.